Welcome to Diversity Show. My name is Gloria Ezemma. This is a show where we bridge gap between races, where we come out, talk about our racial differences, so that we will understand each other well and clear some of the stereotypes and be able to live in peace and harmony. So many of us have heard of what is going on in the news now, the racial tensions and everything. And I think this is a good time to talk about discrimination because we can't shove it under the table and act like it does not exist. And then once in a while it will erupt into something like this. So it's good to address it so that at least most of us will come out, share some of the experiences that we've had. I know many of us have had negative experiences. We have also had some positive experiences. So that's why today I brought someone from a different race too. He's white and I'm black. So it's good to, come together and then share some of our stories, some of the good and some of the bad. And then he will give us some advice on how to get along, irrespective of our skin color. So on Diversity Show today is Mr. Paul
Dundatscheck.
Okay, I let him say his last name because you see, I'm from West Africa, so I have a different accent. I don't want to butcher his name, so I wanted him to say it. All right, your last name sounds like a German name, Mr. Paul.
Yes, my grandparents on my father's side were from Germany,
Okay.
but someone whose hobby was the last names of people where they come from said it was a Serbian name. And so after that, I told the family and they accepted it, and now we were Serbian. But on my mother's side, she's Italian, Sicilian.
Oh, all right, see? So I am from Nigeria, West Africa, and he is from Germany and for Serbian. You're Serbian and then Sicilian too.
Yes.
All right, so, okay. So, I have so many questions that I wanted to ask you in terms of race. I know you grew up here. I did not grow up here, so I will share my stories too, but I'll let you share first. So, where did you grow up?
Well, I was born in Jersey City of New Jersey, and I don't remember any of that. And then when I was about 4 years old, we moved to Poughkeepsie, New York. And we were there for about maybe 3 or 4 years. And then we moved to Rivervale, New Jersey.
Wow. All right, so where did you go to high school? In New Jersey or New York?
New York. Nope, New Jersey, excuse me.
New Jersey, okay. All right. Okay, you know why I pointed to high school? Because I know most of the time the racial, I'm trying to get a good word for it. People learn about race more when they're teenagers. Because sometimes when you're small, you might grow up in your little community. But once you start going to high school, then you might meet people from other races. So in high school, did you meet people from other races, people that looked different from you? Did you?
Not very many at all that I recall. The first instance actually was grade school when I was about 8 years old, perhaps 3rd grade. I don't know. And there was a boy there named Billy who was obviously not white, and he was part American Indian and part black. He had straight hair, not curly. So one day at lunchtime, one of the other boys said to him, "What's the matter, Bill? Forget to wash your face this morning?" And right away I thought that's bad. That's not right that he said that.
Yes, because actually, why did you think that he said that? Because his complexion, the one that he was referring to, had a darker complexion, is it?
Yeah, he had a dark complexion, and I don't think it was really prejudice. I think it was just making fun of anything that can be made fun of.
Okay, so he didn't, he was not saying it just to humiliate him. It's just like he's making fun.
Kids being kids.
Okay. All right. Because actually, I remember when you told me the story a little bit before we started taping, you said that the boy became tough after a while, being, a minority in a school that had mostly white kids. Is that true? That he became very tough?
He became tough. He beat up this one kid. I heard about that. They used to be friends, and then later on he became a weightlifter, and he made it clear that he wasn't afraid of nobody in any circumstance.
Okay.
And he was a tough guy.
Okay. Because actually, as a black person, what I will understand from that is maybe because of the humiliation, because he was, I will use the word bullied or, insulted so much. So it made him have tough skin because this is the way that he was trying to fight back for, the discrimination that he was facing. You see, and that's why sometimes actually most of the young ones in high school, you see they fight a lot and they're like, oh, the black kids fight them. But when you subject someone to so much humiliation, and after a while, the person will try to resist. And maybe that's why what brings up some of the violence that people see, that make it look like we're not, that we are violent. We are not. But it's just the suppression and oppression. When people are really humiliated, it brings the worst part of them out. All right, so let's go into a different area. So your parents, actually growing up, did your parents talk about race with you?
They didn't really talk about race so much, and everything around me was all white.
Okay.
And so I didn't get anything racist out of them really.
That much.
When I was growing up.
Oh, okay. Actually, I grew up in a similar, environment too. Because in Nigeria, we have mostly blacks.
Right.
So we don't have people from other races. And when they come, actually, they usually come as visitors. And we treat them very, very well. So when I came to this country, I had such a culture shock because I didn't know that people could be treated differently because of their skin color. So, it was a little bit different. But once again, you're my guest, so I'll let you share some of the negative stories that you know about the blacks. In terms of, I think there was one that you mentioned to me a long time when we were talking before this show again. You said they threw stone or egg at you. Go ahead.
I was living in Spring Valley then, had moved out of New Jersey to be on my own. And I was jogging up Myrtle Street and going up the hill, and some black teenagers, maybe about 4 of them, maybe 5, were throwing rocks at me. And I turned around and looked, and I was about half a block away, and they says, "We want to fight, man." But I kept on jogging, and as I started going up the hill, on my right, a dog came running out, like he was gonna attack me, and they said, "Watch out, man! The dog! Watch out!"
The same kids that were throwing stones?
Same ones that were throwing stones warned me about the dog, who reached the end of his rope anyway. He couldn't reach me, and so I kept on jogging, and that was the end of that.
Wow. Oh, well, I'm glad you shared that story. I will share my own too. In terms of the discrimination that I faced. Because like I said, it's good to air these things out. Because sometimes, you don't sit on problem and then without bringing it out. Because that's the only way you can find solution. So, mine was when I came to this country, actually. I walked into a store to buy a pacifier. And when I walked in, there was a white lady that was there. So she kept on following me from one aisle to another. And I didn't know the store, so I was going from one aisle to another to find a pacifier. But she looked a little bit, suspicious because, I felt uncomfortable because I didn't know why she was looking at me. So I kept on going from one aisle and finally I found a pacifier. So I brought the pacifier and I was going to pay at the counter, but there was a long line of people that were waiting, to pay. So what I did was I left the pacifier on top of a counter because I had parked my car right in front of the store. So I needed to put money in the meter so that I wouldn't get a ticket. So when I left the pacifier, I stepped out. I tried to step out so that I can run out to go and put money in the meter. As soon as I got to the front, very close to where the security officer was, the security officer came to me. The lady ran from the back, the one that was watching me from one aisle to the other, that I didn't know the reason. And then they all came and they started searching me. They said, "What did you steal from the store? What did you steal from the store?" I said, "I didn't steal anything." I said, "All I picked up was a pacifier which I left at the counter because there's a long line and I wanted to go and put money in the meter." They would not hear my explanation. They were not even listening to me at all. They stripped me and then they turned my bag upside down, checked everywhere, looking for something that I had stolen. I told him, I said, "I did not steal anything." I was trying to explain. They were not paying attention at all. And then I started crying because I'm like, "Why are you searching me?" They turned around and they looked at me. They said, "Well, a few hours ago, a black person came into the store and robbed the store. So that's why they stopped me to search me because I'm black." So the crime that I committed, I became a criminal just because of my skin color. So you see, these are some of the experiences that we have, had being in this country. And it's very frustrating. And that's why I brought you out, because I know whites have also have some, bad experiences with blacks. But how do we mend this fence?
The best way to mend the fence is to walk in love.
Okay.
Is do kind things when you can. Whenever you see an opportunity, do something kind for someone. Be nice, and that can make a difference to whoever it is.
Okay. All right. When I saw you, there was a story that you shared with me that really, I was so interested in that story in terms of how to, bridge the gap with simple love. You showed it with opening door for someone. Can you share that story with our viewers?
Yes, this was years ago at Nyack Hospital. The door to the reception area was not automatic in those days. So I held the door for a white lady, and she went out and she said, "Thank you." And I told her, "You're worth it." She said, "Oh, thank you." And I thought that was the end of it, but it wasn't. Several weeks later, a Hasidic man held the door open for me, and I said, "Thank you." And he said, "You're worth it." And I says, "Wow, thank you." And I knew, wow, that was God. God spoke to this man to say that to me, to encourage me that that was the right thing I did.
Right, exactly. And actually, the story that Bill just shared, when he told me the story.
Paul.
Paul. Did I call you Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Bill sounds like Paul. I'm so sorry. All right. So, when I heard that story, actually, I found it to be very interesting. And I know a lot of you will ask me why. It's such a simple thing that he said, love. And he held a door for someone. So what he gave out, he received back. So when he held the door for someone, a lady, and made such a positive comment, another person did the same thing to him. So when you look at it, if we can treat people how we would like to be treated, and I will speak from a black person's point of view. I mean, this is what I have observed living in America. Here, people are treated differently, even at job. I mean, a lot of people are working so hard. I see a lot of blacks that are working so hard, especially in the hospital. They struggle so much and other places, but they get paid very little. And then others are working and they get paid more. So it looks like the blacks are, poorer here in America, and which is causing so much problem. Because, I mean, when you look at it, when someone is hungry, they are angry. So, I mean, if we can start treating people in all areas, not just talking to people or just being nice, but in everything, in all our dealings, even at work, whatever we're doing, sharing wealth. What I mean by sharing wealth is that it's just like if someone works hard, pay them what they deserve. Don't just give them a chicken change and expect them to survive on that chicken change. So, I mean, if we can treat people the way that we would like to be treated, because, I mean, if you're working for me, I know that you have family to take care of. I know you have children. I know you have, school fees to pay. So if I hired you to work for me, I have to pay you fairly, knowing that you need that money to take care of your children. So, I mean, these are things that are really causing a lot of friction. And then the history of the blacks, I don't think a lot of whites know. Do you know our history?
Well, the history of slavery in the South?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So how did you know? Who told you?
In grade school, we were taught it, and we were, I remember the same kid I talked about, when he was asked what's his favorite president, he said Abraham Lincoln. Of course, well, I was happy with Abraham Lincoln also, and Bill said he freed the slaves.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, from what you just said, I can infer that, I mean, they know our history, but they don't know it that much. And sometimes when you don't know someone, you can always assume. But, I mean, this is a show, like I said, we're bridging gaps, so we're not going to go too deep, but I'm encouraging people. If you don't know a lot about blacks, you can read about blacks. If you don't know a lot about whites, you can read about whites to know their background. You can read about Indians, you can read about Chinese. So it's always good to read, because reading can take you so many places, and then it can clear some of the stereotypes too. Okay, so I don't know what else to say, because we've said it so much in a very casual way on how we can get along. So, do you have any other advice that you need to give people in terms of the racial tension that is going on now? before we round up?
Speaking of the riots and what the policeman did, obviously that was wrong what he did. No one could dispute that. I think it's time for people to start finding ways to make a bridge between each other
Yes.
in some kind of way, whatever way they can.
Thank you so much, because actually you can see that every race do have good people, and then we don't want to judge people based on their skin, because like I said, you can find good people in white races, you can also find it in black races everywhere. But I mean, sure, so it's always good to, you know, consider people as if they are, you know, they are you, because the way that, like I said, if you treat people the way that you would like to be treated, or treat other people's children that you would like your own children to be treated, we can all live in peace and harmony. I'll let Paul say something.
Okay, I was going to talk about my experiences in the church with different races who I've been blessed by, just about all of them. And I used to go to church in Nyack, where we had a Korean pastor, and there was a black man there who blessed me by informing me of my ministry gift twice, and the twice I denied it, and the third time a Spanish pastor came and ministered to me, and he said the exact same thing he did, and their information was not straight out of their head, it was by the Spirit of God. And so I received it, and I was so blessed. And without those people of all these different backgrounds,
Exactly.
I would never be nowhere near as I am where I am today with God and with other people. So I have to say, if you're going to look at heaven, it's going to have everybody there that's, you know, that follows the Lord.
That's true. That's true. You know, thank you so much for what you just said. Thank you. And just to cap it, I always like to tell this story over and over. When God created the world, He created everything to be in different colors and different shapes. I mean, look at even simple apple that we eat. We have green apples. We have red apples. Look at animals. We have black dogs. We have white dogs. We have brown dogs. Look at cats. We have black cats. We have white cats. I mean, everything. Even flowers. Flowers come in different shades, different colors. So what about human beings? Why do we feel that we have to be the same color to be accepted? So just look into what we're doing in terms of race. Treat people equally, socially, financially, economically, spiritually, and then all of you will get along. Because if people can go into the church and get along very well, if we can bring that church outside and do the same thing that we're doing in the church and do it outside, I think we'll all get along very well. All right, so that's our show today. Once again, we thank you for being our viewer. All right, so look forward to other episodes of Diversity, where we bridge the gap between all races so that we can understand each other and live in peace and harmony, irrespective of our skin color or our religion. Thank you, and may God bless you. Thank you, Paul.